Hello again. Welcome back to Lost in Translation. My name is Nico, and today we're going to take a look at both portions of Vayakhel and Pekudei, and my top 10 points that you will miss if you are only reading the portion in English. We're going to treat both these portions together because most years they are read together. There is a leap year system where we end up with an extra month. And this is how we justify the lunar calendar with the solar seasons to make sure that all the festivals stay in their proper seasons. Like Passover is coming up in a couple weeks and it has to stay in the spring. If we didn't have this adjustment with the extra month every couple of years, every 4 years, I believe, then our holidays would be transient throughout the year, and that wouldn't work. So to accommodate this leap year system, there are enough portions in the Torah to have an extra month. And on those years where the leap year isn't in effect, we have less portions uh, read together, right? So this is our first example of that this year of Vayakhel and Pekudei. Um, let's start right away with number one, the tabernacle. Again, here we are, starting right at the beginning of chapter 35 in the book of Shemot or Exodus, and we're just coming out of the sin of the golden calf and the revelation of Hashem's glory to Moshe. And we are getting this reintroduction of the topic of the tabernacle. So, if we remember, before the sin of the golden calf, we had all these commandments about, this is what you're going to do, this is how the tabernacle is going to be made. Then we even assign who is going to do this work. We've got Bezalel, son of Uri, and all the artisans who are going to be involved. And then we have this incident with the golden calf, and ultimately the revelation of Hashem's glory. Now that Hashem's glory has been revealed to Moshe, you can really understand what this tabernacle is for. Okay, and now that there's been this sin of the golden calf, there's even a greater need for this tabernacle, because the tabernacle is what brings the connection of Hashem back into this world. And so now that the nation knows that they are flawed, they cannot escape the fact that they had this problem with the golden calf. They are completely reliant on Hashem for this connection, and the tabernacle is the bare minimum that they can do in order to draw this connection to them. Okay, and that gets us to point number two, Shabbat. Okay, again, Hashem is reminding the children of Israel to keep Shabbat. It's the very first thing that he's talking about right here. Now that we're commanded to assemble the tabernacle, right? We need to make sure that we keep Shabbat. Why? To reiterate that as important as the construction of the tabernacle is, it doesn't supersede Shabbat. And this is actually where we understand all of the labors that are forbidden on Shabbat, right? All the labors that are forbidden on Shabbat are derived from the labors required to construct and erect the tabernacle. So cleaning my glasses isn't a labor. It's okay to clean my glasses on Shabbat. It's okay to to uh, to wash your hands. So there's so many things. So the labors are specifically connected to those labors necessary for erecting and constructing the tabernacle. Okay. Number 3, to do them. Now we've got 3 points and we haven't even really moved the page yet, right? Um, right? So right at the very beginning here, that Moses called to the whole community of the children of Israel to assemble, and he said to them, "These are the things that the Lord commanded to make." Well, okay, that's the Chabad translation. Another translation here in the art scroll is, yeah, they say Moses assembled the entire assembly of children of Israel to say and said to them, "These are the things that Hashem commanded, comma, to do them." So it seems a little like an extra clause here. These are the hadavrim asher tziva Hashem. These are the things that Hashem commanded. Lasot otam. Remember that ose or asot. That this can be make or do. Hence, these two different ways of translating it. Furthermore, in the Mishnah, or yeah, we have here that Or HaChaim is connecting this this part about Shabbat back to this idea of to do them or to make them. Well, maybe this could also be to repair them, right? To repair the children of Israel from the damage, the impurity that they received through the sin of the golden calf. So not only is Shabbat so sacred that we don't do work connected to the tabernacle on it, but the Shabbat is restorative. That it's supposed to be something that it's it's written that that Shabbat, keeping Shabbat is to keep the entirety of the Torah, right? And so if they can keep the Torah, if they can keep Shabbat, then they can be restored from their mistake of the golden calf. Okay, number 4. Whose heart inspired him. ויבוא כל איש אשר נישאו ליבו וכל אשר נדבה רוחו אותו הביאו את תרומת השם למלאכת אוהל מועד. Right? Okay, so the Chabad version actually has a more accurate translation here, uplifted, whose heart uplifted him, right? In the art scroll, it says inspired him. So just the idea that the person was motivated to give, right? And everyone whose spirit inspired him, right? You'd see, they also said in art scroll, yeah, here they said in the art scroll, uplifted was given inspired, and inspired was given motivated. Okay, so whoever wanted to give, they gave, but the understand that maybe there's two types of giving as well. That the uplifted, right? That through giving, they arrive to a higher degree, right? That it wasn't just that they were inspired to give, that they elevated, they became higher than they were, right? So that there were two types of giving: those who wanted to participate in the giving to contribute to the tabernacle. Maybe those were the ones who were inspired slash motivated. They didn't want to miss out. And those who are uplifted, maybe they they just they felt this need to give. It was this lack of opportunity to give that was being fulfilled, and that's what was uplifting them and bringing them closer to Hashem, closer to His qualities in the act of giving. Okay, number 5, tent of meeting. So all these people who are inspired, they're bringing everything to the tent of meeting, right? To the Ohel Moed. And so the question becomes, what's the difference between Ohel Moed and the Mishkan, right? The tabernacle. And what we come to understand is that this tent of meeting, this Ohel Moed, that's this was Moshe Rabbeinu's residence, and this is where the presence of Hashem was being made manifest before the tabernacle was constructed. So we have these two terms that can be confused for being synonyms. It's about time, right? One is before the tent of meeting is just where Hashem came to to rest His presence um, before the tabernacle was in existence. So the tabernacle being a community affair, it was a greater manifestation of Hashem's presence in respect to this singular affair of being a connection through Moshe Rabbeinu alone. Okay, number 6, with the women. So we have all these people who are excited about giving, and the very thing that we see here, the very next thing that they're bringing things to the tent of meeting, the men came with the women. Okay, well, again, if we look at Hebrew, the vu ha'anashim al ha'anashim al ha'anashim. So the way plurals work in Hebrew is that the masculine plural can include women as well. Now, if there's only women, then we use the female plural, nashim, right? But if there are men and women together, we can easily say this by only using the male plural. So the inclusion of the male and the female plural together, right, is significant. And what the Ramban says is that the women were more eager to give, that right, and that the men came with them. The women moved first, and the men moved after them. And in fact, another thing here is that with being rendered from this al, which can also be up or higher, right? Um, Whereas we could also see it with im, so the ein and the mem instead of the ein and the lamed here. So there is this indication here that the women were more moved to give, and that pulled the men up with them. Okay, number 7, the leaders. Okay, here we go. In the Chabad translation, instead of leaders, they say princes, which is fine because a Nasi can be a leader, but it's also a prince. What's interesting here is that Ve Hanisim, this is supposed to be plural for the princes or the leaders. But what's interesting here is that there are two yuds. The letter yud is missing both here after the sheen and here after the aleph. And this also looks like, according to the Ramban, that this is kind of a rebuke that the Torah is giving, that the leaders aren't leading this action of giving, that they're only coming after the fact. Now, maybe their motivation was to allow the people to give first, and then they would give whatever else was necessary, thinking that there would be something a lot left over. Um, but instead, if they're going to be leaders, they should have been leading the way. They should have been making an example, and this is something that they do later on with the inauguration of the tabernacle when each leader brings his gifts. Okay, now number 8, the reckoning. So again, here another slight deviation in the translation here. These are the numbers of the Mishkan. These are the reckoning of the Mishkan, the accounts, right? Right, the Pekudei, right? The basically what's happening here is that we're being shown that the leadership of Moshe and Bezalel and the Kohanim was so righteous. They wanted to demonstrate to everybody that they didn't keep anything for themselves. That here's what was collected and here was what was used. And what we also saw in the previous portion is that uh, is that people just kept giving and giving. They had to be told to stop giving, that they were bringing too much, and even though they were bringing too much, it turned out that what was collected was precisely enough to finish the work, and that there was only very little left over. But these things that were left over, maybe they were used for repairs, or they were somehow incorporated into other objects that were used for the service in the tabernacle. Um, and here we're given this precise accounting of what each material was used for. And again, this accounting is to demonstrate the righteousness of the leadership, that they weren't using this public works project as an opportunity to become wealthy. Okay, number 9, talents. Okay, in this reckoning we see here that the gold used was 29 talents. That the silver used uh, was 1,770 talents, and and okay, what we learn from uh, from Rashi is that 1 talent is basically 3,000 shekels. Now, we don't really know exactly what a shekel weight was, but based on some archaeological finds, we can understand that a shekel was maybe about 10 grams. So that places a talent at 30 kilograms. right? So if we remember the discussion we had about this before in terms of the menorah, well, this would make the menorah slightly smaller than what we were thinking before, um, at 30 kilograms. But if we consider the immense weights here of 29 talents, so you have your 29 times 30. I mean, it's 870 kilograms of gold. Or what did we have here? 600. Where was it? The 600 and let's see. No, the 775 shekels. 775 shekels times your 30 kilograms. We're talking about 23,000 kilograms. Excuse me. We're talking about a lot of weight. Okay, so there was a lot of material collected. All of this material came out of Egypt, and now they're using it for the Mishkan. And that's something that's also very important here, that Egypt, this limitation, which produced all this wealth, is now all this wealth is being dedicated to something where the people are able to give it instead of keep it, right? And this giving is precisely the action that brings them closer to the Creator. All right. And finally, number 10, Moses erected the tabernacle. Okay, the Tzazel and all the craftsmen, they do all the work. They put together the tabernacle and they bring it to Moshe Rabbeinu, and he blesses them and he blesses their work. And now is when Hashem commands Moshe Rabbeinu to put it together, to erect it. And right here, okay, you're going to anoint it, and you're going to erect it, and he says here that that thus Moshe Rabbeinu Moses did according to all that the Lord had commanded him, so he did, right? So it's we learned that because everybody else had given to the project, Moshe Rabbeinu didn't have anything that he had given. Like the leaders, they came at the end to give the stones for the vestments, and here Moshe Rabbeinu, after supervising the whole project, now he is given the honor of erecting it. And maybe it has to be him again, because remember his name, Moshe, means to draw upward. And he is taking his splendor and he's make instead of the presence coming to his own personal tent now he is erecting the tent, the tabernacle, as if it is his own dwelling. And this is what allows the presence of Hashem to come onto this joint effort. Everybody has given into it, and now what Moshe Rabbeinu gives, what he can give, is his connection to Hashem. That's what he donates to the tabernacle, and that's what makes it a tool for connection between the entire nation of Israel, Yisharkel, the entire world, back to Hashem, the Creator. So I hope this was interesting and helpful. Please share with me any ideas, anything that you get from these portions as well. In the meantime, like, subscribe, comment, share, and until next week, be well.